So back when I was 16, I got into my first serious relationship. And me and this girl were head over heels over each other. We loved each other like crazy. We used to text all the fucking time. And, we were 16, so each like kind of like we didn't live with each other, but we sort of, used to see each other all the fucking time, texting, calls, all this kind of shit. And one day, the freaking magical day comes by and she breaks up with me. And not only that, she actually cheats on me. And so after discovering that, go crazy. I remember it was like December. She broke up with me like at the end of November. And like it sort of got into December. I genuinely used to cry every single fucking night for like about a month, like till after the breakup, and I would genuinely cry daily. Like it would be like 4 a.m. and I would just be sat there freaking crying my eyes out. And this specific girl, like it genuinely took me probably around 6 months to like just sort of move from thinking about her every single day. It's genuinely crazy. And the main reason I mentioned this is because you're probably going through a similar thing. You know, you clicked on a video that's talking about if you're going through a breakup. So I had to mention my story before I get into this because, that story was really something to me and it changed me tremendously since that time. And so the first thing I just want to nail in is that you probably have this mindset that she's special, that she is the one, right? And all of us kind of do at the start of it, when when you've like bonded with someone so closely and you just kind of, were in this relationship for like months on end, maybe even years, it's no wonder that out of nowhere, this person breaking up with you or cheating on you, like you just think it's out of character. You just can't anticipate it. And that's why it's, purely because you've built the mindset that they're special, that they're, this special person, that they can't be replaced. And I hate to sort of like sound like this freaking like sad nihilistic person, but they are freaking replaceable. And it's just a fucking reality. No matter who they might be, everyone is fucking replaceable. In fact, you're basically guaranteed to meet someone who's better than them in this fucking lifetime. And so the main thing I would just say is, bro, just completely forget about it. I know it's fucking hard. Like saying it's so much easier than actually fucking doing it. Like everyone tells you forget about it, but it's like, can you really? And time's the healer of all wounds at the end of the day. But more than that, it's like you have to be willing to actually take on the pain, to actually be willing to, just face the fucking heartbreak, cry your fucking eyes out. And it's not always the freaking, best solution. I actually used to remember in that specific time, I only had like one kind of close friend where I would just sort of hang around at that time. And we sort of used to go to the gym together in the morning. It was like sort of at that December time. He used to walk from the gym to his home. And genuinely, we would sort of like see couples walk by. And like after they walk by, I genuinely would stop there and I would start crying. Because I would just sort of immediately remember, all the sort of shit that would happen. But at the end of the day, you get over it. And no matter how deep of a wound it might be, you will fucking get over it. And so the main point is, get over the idea that she is somehow irreplaceable. You will meet someone who is better. And one thing that most people kind of forget, and it's something that should never be forgotten, especially if you're a person who is on self-improvement, who's constantly looking, for ways to improve yourself, the quality of people that you will attract, especially girls, will, continuously increase with the, self-improvement that you choose to do. And so think like 2 years from now, with your new fucking built physique, let's say you gain like fucking 20 kilos of muscle, you're going to be a different person. The girls you're going to attract are going to be completely, different quality to the ones you have right now. And most people ignore this shit. Most people just don't want to think about it. But the reality is, the girl that you probably have right now is probably not the best quality girl out there. Far from it. And, I'll tell you this, especially after I sort of, went through that kind of breakup, I genuinely started to understand, like when I got like over the girl, that she was far from my ideal partner, And this is sort of something that like it's a personal thing for me, like I'm just kind of this way. But I realized that she is far from the kind of partner that I would want in terms of just the overall, traditions and, the sort of cultural norms and all this shit. She just doesn't match the kind of person that I'm sort of looking for. And I didn't see that when I was in the relationship. In fact, I was willing to change myself for the girl because I just loved her and I bonded with her, right? And so you have to understand that your partner, the person you choose to be with, it is a very fucking important decision. And oftentimes you'll see people who just kind of jump toward anyone and they end up, putting themselves in misery because their partner is just shitty. Their partner just doesn't fucking improve. They stop them from fucking improving. And so it's just like, why would you even be with someone like that? And I think the vast majority of guys need to just see themselves for who they are. You are far higher quality than you realize. Most guys are, like girls thrive on guys seeing themselves in a very low, like, manner, like just kind of having low self-esteem, because then the girl gets to dictate all the freaking, things and lead the relationship and all this feminist garbage fucking mindsets, right? And so that guys need to fucking get their shit together. Guys need to fucking look at their situation and say, I'm far higher quality than what these people tell me. Now, that doesn't mean I don't fucking improve. That doesn't mean I sit there and I'm like, oh, I'm perfect the way I am, actually. And you're fucking obese or you're fucking ultra skinny, you're a fucking twig, you fucking improve. But at the same time, you understand that the girls you currently have are probably not the girls you want to end up with in a long-term relationship. And you may not understand this. Like, I totally get it, because you are still attracted to this person. You're still attached to this person. And so, it's hard for me to kind of like, I'm shitting on this person, like unapologetically. But the thing is, like, it's hard for you to kind of just accept it immediately. And I totally get it. My main point with this video is I want you to use the opportunity that you have right now. This insane amount of anger, this sense of betrayal, this sadness, because all these emotions that you're experiencing, all these dark thoughts, because I get this shit, I was there. And you have to just use these emotions as fuel. Just use these emotions to freaking push yourself in the gym, to, force yourself to eat more food, to bulk up. Use these freaking emotions to push yourself to do some freaking productive work. Whatever shit you fucking do, right? At the end of the day, life as a man is not as dependent on emotions as you think. The thing about a man is we're just disciplined creatures. We just stick to what we have to fucking do. And if you have work that you need to fucking do, then you're going to have to fucking do it. And at the end of the day, it's like you get into dating these days and it's all fucked up and all this bullshit, right? Hypergamy and all these women freaking, looking for the top 1% man and all this garbage. At the end of the day, you can't really change the entirety of society. All you can do is aim to become the top 1% man in that sense and, get as close as humanly possible to that goal. That's kind of all you can really do. And the rest of it, you just attract the freaking, high quality girls that actually match your vibe and the kind of person you want to spend the rest of your life with, the kind of person who actually fucking improves themselves and doesn't limit your own progression, and you just basically stick to that kind of fucking person. And you distance yourself from toxic people who don't want the best for you or probably narcissistic and, all this bullshit, right? And so my main thinking frame here is time will pass around anyway. And so you might as well use the freaking time that's going to pass around and freaking become the best version of yourself that you can possibly aim to become. If you don't fucking go to the gym and you have a fucking shitty physique, then you should probably go to the fucking gym. If you are hella skinny and you fucking weigh less than 70 kilos, then you should probably be concerned. You should probably start to fucking bulk up. And so it's just like you already have so much freaking energy. Like you've just been, and I know this sounds shitty to fucking say, but you've genuinely been blessed by the universe, by God, with this insane amount of energy and emotions. If you told someone like what would be the best state to be in terms of like going into a fight or like freaking, achieving the most, they would say heartbreak because you're constantly being fueled by freaking emotions. You can't sleep because of the amount of freaking emotions you have. You're constantly freaking just looking for an output. And so that's why it's just so freaking good to use this energy to become the best version of yourself, And oftentimes people sort of do this for like to kind of re-attract their ex and all this shit. And I actually, to completely freaking be honest, I've done this myself, right? Like I've been like, oh, I want to improve myself, that she'll come back. But the simple truth is you have to just accept that she's not the one. It's just the freaking reality. And whether you learn this right now and you just accept it, or you let time pass and you freaking realize it on your own, like fucking 6 months later or a year later, at the end of the day, you're going to fucking realize it. It's just the freaking reality. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's just one to fucking accept. And at the end of the day, it's like, once you're past the storm, you'll be grateful that it made you a sailor. It's just like, you will be grateful for the pain that you are enduring if you use it right. Now, if this pain ends up, putting you in a freaking depressive state and you fucking end up having a downward spiral, then you're not going to be so grateful for it. You're going to blame everything on it. But why put yourself in such a position where you're going to go into a downward spiral when you could use this negative energy positively? And so that's kind of the main idea behind, in general, just how to fucking get over breakups. It's just about fucking looking for self-improvement. And this is the solution for most things in life, to seek the betterment of self regardless of the situation. If you lose, you fucking seek to improve. If you win, you seek to improve. That's just the way a man works. We always look for more development and improvement. And at the end of the day, that's what makes us men. And so that's really all there is to it for this video. I know I fucking, said a lot of shit about my personal life, but I think it really does just fucking, help to make you see that I get your shit, bro. I've been there before. And at the end of the day, it's like, breakups are not, people love to fucking yap about breakups and say, oh, it's so easy to get over an ex, and oh, just distract yourself and just do this and just do that and play video games. But it's like, is this really the best way to get over, anything? It's just like, why not put this freaking time into self-betterment? Even if it drives you to just go to the gym, even if it just drives you to take one extra step towards your personal development, And so I hope that this video has motivated you to go ahead and take a step to improve your fucking life. And I'll give you this last tip because I've been talking for too long, but you can genuinely sit there and use your brain in the most effective manner. Your brain is a literal machine to freaking help you to improve yourself. And so just sit there, bro, and just Get a sheet of paper out. Think of every single way that you can improve your life right now. Think of every single step you can take right now. A decision, you starting to go to the gym, you starting a bulk, starting, I don't know, MMA or something. You starting this new business, you starting whatever, dropping out of school. For me, that was the fucking case. You know, figure out the thing that will improve your life the most, the steps that you need to fucking take, and commit to the fucking work. And so, at the end of the day, it's a hard fucking thing to go through, but you'll be grateful that you went through it. And so that's really all there is to it for this video. As long as you commit to the work, you'll be getting your results.